All right, this video is all about how to read floor plans. So if you're watching this video, you're either a client of ours, F9 Productions, and we are serving as your architect, and we are likely delivering you your first set of floor plans to take a look at. The floor plans that you're about to see might look a little bit different, obviously, than the ones we've delivered to you, but the methodology and the thought process behind how you read floor plans is generally the same. You could also be somebody on the web watching this video and also trying to understand the floor plans that maybe somebody else designed for you or that you bought online. So basically what I'm showing right here is I'm going to walk through, this is a basement floor plan, main floor plan, on like a main level basically is what I'm saying, and then the upper floor plan, right? The first thing, and then to the right here, you'll see that also we have some area plans. I'll kind of start with the area plans first, because one of the things that we try to deliver right away is we try to help people understand what kind of square footage they're looking at in terms of their design and what they're up against to build. A lot of the preliminary construction costs that people put together for other people, such as us or even contractors for owners and clients, is we base some preliminary construction estimates on how many square feet, right? If you're building, in this case, 4,237 square feet, you'd multiply that by a certain number, $150, $200, $300, et cetera, depending on where you're building and what you're looking to build, right? It's all going to change. So the area plans are basically smaller versions of the floor plans, and they encompass and show what is the floor area of particular floor, right? So this upper floor that I'm showing here, if I zoom into it a little bit, it's showing 1,464 square feet. And then this architect, which is me, actually shows that there's an open to below space. So in other words, a 2-story space, right? So that wouldn't be counted in like what you're building essentially. Garage area, 834 square feet. Main floor area with the kitchen, dining, living, mudroom, powder, a little office, entryway, 1,203 square feet. And then the lower floor, 735 square feet. Lower floor in this case being the basement, okay? When it comes to the floor plans, so right now I'm on the lower floor plan. If you're wondering what floor plan you're maybe potentially looking at, there should always be a little title of the drawing down below here, and it'll give you even what scale it is, okay? I'm looking on a computer. You might be looking in person, and maybe you're even using an architectural scale if you want to try to scale the drawings and the dimensions aren't clear for you. But this is our basement floor plan that we're looking at. And so a couple things to note, right? You're seeing a couple different kinds of walls. So in this case, the walls that are thicker, and because we're in a basement, just using a little bit of common sense, we can probably assume that these are concrete foundation walls. The other walls are just that are in this sort of gray poche are 2x4 walls, your standard wood wall that's framed out and everything. We've got some room labels here, and in this case, what kind of floor finish we're suggesting for each particular room, right? And then there's some other things to notice that get a little bit more nuanced and detailed. There's the different levels of dimensions. If you're looking at our drawings, we provide basically 3 levels of dimension on the outside of the building. So the first level of dimension that we provide typically is, and this is a good example over here, is we're dimensioning from the outside of the wall to the center of this is a window here, and over to the edge of this wall. So that's our first layer of dimensions and it'll be even more obvious on the next floor plan. We're just showing to center of openings, okay? Second level of dimensions that we show are jogs in the wall, right? So if we're trying to break up the house or the building that we're designing, just to give it a little bit more depth, right? This is a good dimension line to kind of take a look at. Looks like from the outside edge of this foundation wall or window well to the foundation wall is 4'6", and then our first jog over is 12'4.5", etc. Then the last one is maybe you're just wondering, like, what is the overall footprint of my building? And you'll be looking for one big dimension out here, right? In this case, we actually provided 4 levels of dimensions because I have grid lines in, but the overall dimension, as you can see, is 48'6", right? That goes from the south edge of this house all the way to the north edge of this house. So how does that look on the main floor plan? A little different, right? Because we don't have any concrete walls or anything like that. But the levels of dimension are the same. If you're wondering, hey, what kind of windows am I looking at? Like, where are the windows positioned? Where is the door positioned that we're doing here? And we've got basically, there's little symbols also that correspond with that first level of dimensions. So in this case, if I was a homeowner and I was wondering, what kind of windows is the architect suggesting right here, right? What does this little symbol mean? This little symbol denotes and marks that type of window, okay? So I know, first of all, that going from the outside edge of the wall here to the center of the window is 2'6". And I also know that, okay, the architect is calling out a type M window. Is there anything that corresponds to the type M window? And sure enough, there is. So if I go over to the main floor window schedule, basically it's a table, if you want to think about it that way. Here's type M. It tells me what type of window it is. It's okay. It's a fixed 36-inch wide by 72-inch tall window. And the sill height I have called out is 2 feet, meaning this is how high up off of the floor. And the head height is 8 feet, right? That is where the window lands, okay? And what kind of window it is. What about doors? Let's go take a look at maybe the front door. So I'm a curious homeowner, and I've been hired by F9. What kind of door are they suggesting for me? 3080. What does that mean? 3080 glass. 30 means 3 feet 0 inches wide by 8 feet 0 inches tall. What type? Glass. What about interior doors? How big of the door are they suggesting I have going from my garage to my chase? Or excuse me, through my mudroom? It looks like it's a 3 foot wide by 6'8" tall door. Doors standard heights are typically 80 inches or 6'8". But in some cases, right, maybe we have some taller doors. This one is 1'6" wide by 8 foot tall for the coat room. Then the other thing to take a look at is what are the other drawing symbols that I might be interested in as somebody looking at this house for the first, or my design for the first time. And some of those drawing symbols are, you'll notice over here these little circles, right? So I'm going to zoom into those. This circle right here represents an elevation tag. So it's what this is saying is that on drawing A8 and drawing number 2, we're looking this way to the right. That's going to be my elevation tag. If I want to look at like a 2D elevation, flat elevation of this house, okay? The drawing sheets are down here. So if, let's say we were further on in the design process and we gave you a more in-depth set of drawings, then you would be able to actually even click on these and go to them. And that'll actually be the next video here in this series that I'll do is how do you read elevations? How do you read sections? So speaking of sections, then there's these tags as well. A9 means what sheet this particular drawing might be on. Drawing number 2, what direction it's facing. You can see the arrows up here. What is this dashed line? This dashed line is representing where we're actually cutting through the virtual architectural model. And in this case, it's cutting through the stairs because maybe as the homeowner, I want to know, or the owner, I want to know what is the head height of the stairs? Like, what does that look like if I'm cutting through the building for whatever piece of information, right? And then there's this section tail, and it just further reinforces the way we're looking. So the last piece is there's interior elevations. They act the same way as the exterior elevations in terms of what you're looking for. And then all dimensions typically are done from edge of framing to edge of framing. So if you're wondering, hey, how big are we planning on, how big is Brett's room going to be? In this case, his name is Brett. 11 foot 7.5, right? Going from north to south here by 11 foot 9.5. Pretty good sized room, right? So I hope this was helpful for you to help you understand how to read your floor plans that maybe we're doing for you, or if somebody else is doing them for you.